Yes, yes.
I had this pain in my back, so I was wanting to visit a chiropractor for some time, and something told me it was not about my back. And now, I've been for the last 1.5 days now. I have been paying attention to that. So, like Helen told yesterday about, okay, how much was it? It was 5. Okay, yesterday it was 6, and today morning it was 5, and now I don't experience the pain. So I thought I'd share that
And
with
it's
you.
what?
It's 0 right now.
Oh, fabulous. What's
And
your chiropractor charge?
yeah, I'll be writing you a
No
check.
cost.
So the other thing was that again, it's curiosity is bringing me back to the question that I asked you as I was leaving yesterday. Is that when we tap on our different archetypes or personas, what are we actually doing? I'm trying to understand that. So my mind is saying that I'm trying to love that part of me, but I want to know from you, what is it that you do when I'm tapping on my unique self or my controller?
So one, your separate self is never going to figure it out. Your thinking mind, your rational mind is never going to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So give up on that. Let it go, girl. Now your unique self can figure it out, or at least hold the paradox of opposites, and so can begin to understand. But for the tapping itself, it is the most important thing is to be able to shift and to give voice and to sense in our own bodies these different states of consciousness. That's the most important thing. And to get that, oh, I'm in the separate self. I'm in some way in a contracted form. The separate self is always in some subtle place of fear of annihilation or abandonment. So there's some subtle contraction. And you go, oh, or maybe not so subtle, depending on how triggered you get. And you can say, oh, I'm in the separate self. Oh, here, let me shift to one of the enlightened voices. I just need to be the witness right here. I just need to be present and watch, be completely detached. Or I need to be in the Divine Mother and just be completely 100% conditional love. Beautiful. Or I can go to my unique self and I can skillfully be present and facilitate this person in whatever emotion that or challenge that they have. I can do that from a very skillful place. So just being able to sense what are these different states of separate self, no self, impersonal self, enlightened self, or the unique self, having the sensation of that is what's essential, and knowing, oh, I have a choice of who I want to be in this moment. The tapping is the somatic practice that anchors those sensations and awareness into your physical body and the connective tissues of your body. So it makes it a physical memory. How many of you have been Rolfed or structural alignment or Heller work or some of that deep somatic? Okay. Did you, in that deep tissue work, have a memory from a long time ago that came up so vividly and so fully? Did you have an experience like that? I remember the Rolfer was working on my mouth, and I mean, it wasn't a flashback. It was like all of a sudden I am 5 years old on a hospital gurney, about to have my tonsils taken out, and I'm tasting the anesthesia, the ether that they used back in 1963. And my grandmother was the operating nurse, and so there she was above me. It was not. It was as vivid as if I was 5 years old again. So our bodies are capable of holding these memories and these experiences in the very connective tissues. And the deeper into the muscle you go, the more traumatic the memory or just the older the memory. That's the way the armoring and the tissue work. So the tapping is what helps anchor these amazing states of consciousness into our physical body and connective tissues, so you can say, oh, I want to be the Divine Mother. And you have a sensation of who she is in your own being, in your own body, in your own consciousness. And so it's like going to a CD player, Divine Mother. But it's not just a state of mind in your imagination, it's a physiological body experience of unconditional love, as opposed to, oh, just a good idea. Our imaginations are very tricky. So that's why we use the tapping to anchor in the sensation of it, so that you can say, am I pretending to be the Divine Mother? Or, oh no, ma'am, I am being love in this moment, and I have an infinite source of love to be with you in this moment. And I'm beyond time and space. That's an experience. So the tapping is what anchors that in for us.
So sometimes if I'm not feeling, so I swirl, and then you ask for the unique self, and I don't know what is the unique self. So I just play along, and I experience something.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
So I fake it till I get it, kind of thing. Is that what?
Well, it's fake it until you get you. Okay, first, that's who you're getting. Joe paid me the most wonderful compliment this morning. He said, I'm experiencing Alan being Alan. And that's about the most fabulous thing you can say to anybody. Thank you, Joe Hirsch. Of course, he's seen Alan being not Alan plenty of times to know the difference. So that's a whole nother Oprah, which we'll save for another day. But I also want to share with you the first time, a number of us had done voice dialogue work back in the 90s. I know Joe and Marion and myself, and they actually went and studied with Hal and Sidra and did a phenomenal amount of work. But it wasn't until 2006 when I met Genpo Roshi, the American Zen master, who had brought the Enlightened piece to it. And I was in that audience, and I mean, the minute he said, let me go to Big Mind, I was there. It was really the first time in years of meditation that I actually had, wow, this is what they talk about. And then that was the first 90 minutes. And then the second 90 minutes, he did the whole 5 stages of enlightenment. Well, I mean, so I've gone from 0 to, woo, full-on enlightenment. Girl, sign me up. I love this. And then as he's going through the whole 5 stages of enlightenment, he lost me at Great Liberation. It was just like, man, I just didn't have the neurological or energetic wiring to even go there yet. I had to get comfortable at the basic stages of enlightenment. But by the second and third time I was with him, I was able to go to Great Liberation, and I was able to go to Ordinary Mind is the Way. So it's like, you know, this was new to you yesterday. So I'm saying be gentle to yourself, and so give your unique self time to come online as you get more acclimated to these other states of enlightenment first.
Shall I ask you another question?
What's that?
Can I ask you another question?
Sure.
So, what is the unique self? Are there any, you know, like you shared? Okay, so if you feel the cosmic stuff, then you are stillness, and you are the Divine Mother and stuff like that. So, does the unique self also have certain? Yeah, I know now I'm with my unique self.
Yes.
Is there something like that?
So, I mean, and I said this a little earlier, the first test, if I am in my unique self, I can be in the bliss of enlightenment, you know, that beautiful, no boundaries, cosmic, no self. You know, and that's where so many meditators get stuck there. That's classic enlightenment. And it's fabulous. I mean, who in their right mind wouldn't want to be, you know, blissed out? Hey, hello. But you can get stuck in the enlightened self just as much as you can get stuck in the separate self. So, you know, greasing the wheels, and Raya, were saying, Raya we're saying is having access to all parts of ourself at all times, including all the enlightened voices. So that unique self is that awareness of consciousness. It's your ego times 10. It's that aware ego, or your unique ego consciousness that has full access to the separate self. It has full access to all the enlightened self. It can be completely connected to infinity as well as time and space in this moment, anchored in the bones of your body and in sensation. It's the ability to do both of those. And that's the first, oh man, I'm here. And then beginning to feel for yourself, who am I as my unique self? What are my strengths and my talents? And what are the insights and awarenesses? And how do I begin to make choices in line with my soul purpose? And we're going to play a little later about connecting to your soul purpose.